Alright. I'm going to be making a Blazblue beginner video for people who are getting into the game, just trying to learn a 2D fighter or Blazblue in general and aren't sure where to start looking or how to improve or maybe even aware of some of the mechanics. So I'm going to be trying to go in more detail than the tutorial because I don't feel that it really tells you the best ways on when to use stuff or how or you know, stuff like that. So I'm going to be trying to give a little bit more detail, be a little bit more helpful in terms of that stuff and how to find stuff on your own. Because there's a lot that it doesn't teach you that you kind of have to know about. I'll show you how you can test and find stuff. So I am a Kagura player, so I'll probably be using him for some of the more intermediate examples later on. But right now I will be using Ragna, as he is a character that has all the tools that I'm going to talk about in the video. So I'm going to start here. Okay. First thing is there's a couple different types of attacks. The first one I'm going to talk about is mid attacks. And those are attacks that are usually going to be either your strong combo starters or combo filler. And they can be, the thing about mids is they can be blocked either standing or crouching. And there are no jumping. Well, actually, never mind. I take that back because there might be. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I'm going to put the opponent on block. Crouching. So mids can be blocked crouching or standing. They do not have to guess. So these are not useful at all for opening your opponent up. That's not their purpose. It is to keep pressure. There's a lot of different types of mids. You know, so you just experiment around. These are not moves you use to open your opponent up by any means. But they are good in combos and stuff like that. They will have their own uses. The ways you're going to open your opponent up are going to be with overheads and lows. And so he is standing and he's blocking now. So if I was to use something like that, there's a low. So you saw I got the little yellow exclamation point there above his head, right? That means you got hit low when you were blocking standing. So there's a bunch of different lows, and lows are extremely fast and difficult to react to. So they're usually you're gonna want to be crouching block from neutral to try and dodge them. Since you can block mids crouching anyway, usually that's gonna be your best bet, is to crouch block. However, if your opponent is crouch blocking and you know blocking all your lows and you're having difficulty opening up, then obviously the other way is going to be an overhead. And you saw you get hit with the red exclamation mark there. That means you got hit overhead and opened up that way. Now you can also combo off of overheads for some decent damage. Overheads generally, though, are much slower than lows, and you can react to them. Now, Ragna actually is a pretty fast one, but there are also, you know, other different overheads, too. Just gotta learn what your opponent's overheads are. The other thing is that almost all jumping attacks are overhead. There are no low jumping attacks. So, if they're in midair, if you just standing block, you will not get hit. But if you do crouching block, yes, overhead. So if they're in midair, you're going to want a standing block. But if they're on the ground, then you're going to have to guess, sometimes. There are some unreactable overheads and instant overheads that you cannot react to that are extremely dangerous. That is a mid, even though it looks like an overhead. So there are some that are not overheads that might look like it, you just have to do some experimenting. But usually they're, you know, big, large, arching animations that hit over the top. Other than that, let's go over the different types of blocking. So I'm going to put the opponent on block switching enable. So now they will block every attack, overheads and lows. Okay, so right now I have the opponent set to normal block, which is pretty standard blocking. You just hold back or down back to block and you won't get hit by attacks. Nothing too fancy about it, to be honest. You know, that's what you're going to be doing most of the time when you're trying to play defense. You can still take chip damage from certain attacks. Big, heavy swings, certain drive moves, you know, you will take slight chip damage, but not very much. Definitely not near as much as actually getting hit by the move. But you can die from chip damage. So how do you prevent that? Well, you can barrier block. Barrier block will prevent you from taking any sort of chip damage. Another special use it has is that it has a lot more pushback than normal blocking. So look at that difference. So normal blocking left me a pretty good distance away, but barrier blocking pushed me much farther. Much farther. So it is a pretty good use for that in regards to that. So you can actually make people get out of pressuring you. So you can like push them so far away that they can't continue to pressure you. Because yeah, see that third hit you actually whipped there. So it's a good use in that regard. However, you do have a barrier meter that is right below your health bar. So if that gets all the way down, then you can no longer use barrier. The other type of blocking will be instant blocking, which means that you push block at the exact moment that the move is about to hit you. And what that does is it'll actually give you less block stun and leave them closer to you, so that's easier to get punishes and find gaps in their strings, stuff like that. It's useful for a couple of reasons as well. You also build more meter than regular blocking. So, you see, when you flash white like that, and you'll end up much closer to the opponent. A little bit more difficult to do, for sure, but definitely a useful skill in certain situations. It'll allow you to find gaps in strings that normally would not be there from normal blocking or barrier blocking. If you combined barrier and instant blocking, you will actually get instant barrier, which has more pushback than anything else in the game. So, you can instant block and barrier at the same time, and it will push them massively far away. Really far away, and that is very good for getting people off of you if you need to create some space. There's a few other advantages to barrier blocking that I will show you here. So I'm going to set the opponent to jump real quick. Whoops. Okay, so if they're jumping, alright, you'll notice that they can block my air attacks, right? And even some ground to air attacks they can block. But there are some moves known as air unblockables, which, like anti-airs like that, or these, you know, if you see that little blue exclamation point, it means it's an air unblockable, and that you cannot block the move normally. So that means you're going to have to barrier in midair, because barrier will block air unblockables. That's the only way you can block them. See, this move will no longer connect. So, barriering in midair is usually the safest way to, you know, maneuver around the air. It's also probably one of your best uses of barrier, since, in my opinion, it's not as good on the ground, since it actually gives you more block stun. And so usually I like to save my barrier for when I'm jumping around in the air, so I don't get hit by air unblockables. It's really the best way to use it, because once again, otherwise you can get comboed by an air unblockable if you're not being careful. So there's stuff like that. There is no air-to-air unblockables though, so you don't necessarily have to do it if your opponent is in the air as well. But if they're on the ground, you're jumping in on them, you can't hit them. Or, yeah, you can hit them. Okay, so I'm going to set the opponent to record real quick, because I want them to do a block string on me. So, okay, it's a very simple block string, nothing fancy about it. So, but the thing that's scary about this block string is, boom, that move right there that Jin just did, that last move is very plus on block, so he can continue pressuring me after that. If you don't want to have to deal with a character's pressure or their mix-up, there's a little secret you can do. As long as you have 50 meter, you can do what is called a counter assault or a guard cancel. And what it does is, whoops, so, alright, guard cancel right there. So you push forward A plus B, and any block string will be immediately cut off and it will blow them away from you. Costs 50 meter, don't really get any damage off of it, but it keeps them from pressuring you. Really good defensive tool if you just need to get out of the corner or just want to reset the neutral game. Other than that, defense will just come from playing. You know, you'll learn matchups, you'll learn how to block certain moves. Reacting to overheads obviously just takes practice. And mostly you're just going to want to low block and then watch what your opponent does. If they're jumping in the air, high block. If you react to the overhead, high block. Other than that, low block. Really, that's all there is to it. Defense is pretty straightforward. However, there is a couple things you need to know about getting out off the ground after a combo. So I will show you this here. So I'm just going to record Jin to do a hard knockdown. So, whoops. Okay, so there's a couple ways you can get up off the ground. Now there is emergency roll, which is probably the safest. Okay, so I got up extremely quickly there. What that means is that as soon as the combo is finished, if you hold a button, any button, like A, B, C, just hold the button down, and you will immediately recover as soon as your character is able to, as soon as you are no longer being comboed. And that is definitely the not necessarily the safest way to combo, but you will definitely get out of pressure at the earliest convenient time. You can then immediately start blocking again, so if they try to pressure you after the combo, you will be able to block the following mix-up. There are some disadvantages of that as everything though, so I will cover that later. There's another type where you get off the ground, and that would be forward and backward rolling. So, if you're on the ground, you hold backward and then tap the direction, you will backward roll. Same thing for forward, you can actually roll behind your opponent as well. This is very useful for getting out of the corner and stuff like that. However, it does have some risk to it, so you can either create more space, or you can get behind your opponent, do whatever you need to do. It'll allow you to roll in the direction you want. Here's another type of wake up, the neutral wake up. If you hold down and hold the button, you will immediately get up in place. This is one of the riskier ways to get up, but it is also the fastest way to get up. So, if you catch your opponent off guard, you can neutral tech and then immediately start attacking them. If they are not ready for that, they might get hit by it. However, there is no invulnerability on your neutral wake ups, so you can definitely get hit out of them if you're not paying attention. So be careful of that as well. Really, you only want to use it to try and catch your opponent off guard. Definitely not the safest way to wake up, but can definitely be beneficial if you use it in the right ways. Very, very quick, very hard to react to, can be very tricky. Now that's it for basic defensive options, wake-ups. Usually I like to use the emergency wake-up because it is the safest way to wake up in my opinion, and that you can immediately start blocking pressure. You know, it allows you to get out of combos. You don't have to worry about getting tech trapped or whatever. You can just block what you need to block. I'll just cover basic normals and stuff now. We're going to go to offense, which is obviously everybody's favorite part of every fighting game. Nobody likes playing defense forever, so sometimes you gotta hit them right. So, Blazblue is a 4-button fighting game. It's played with A, B, C, and D. Each button obviously represents a different type of attack. So, A buttons are going to be your very quick, very fast pokes. They're not very good combo starters at all. In fact, you can... Blazblue has a very interesting scaling system in that the move that is used to start the combo will affect how much actual damage you can get out of the combo. So starting a combo with an A will not give you as much damage as starting the combo with a B. Even though that combo was less hits, it did more damage. And that is the way the scaling in Blazblue works. 7 hits as compared to 6. So, A's are not very good combo starters, but they are very fast and are very good up close for interrupting your opponent. Very, very good. You can also use it for something was known as a tick throw. So, throws in this game can be broken, obviously. But, after someone pushes the throw button to try and break a throw, if you then throw them, they will get throw, reject, miss, and they cannot tech the throw. There's a certain frame window after they attempt the throw break before they can throw break again. So doing something like a little down A into a grab will actually oftentimes give you a throw reject miss. As a tick throw, it's a pretty good technique. Definitely works best off of A moves too, because of how fast they are and how fast they recover. Other than that, your B moves are going to be a lot of your longer range normals. They're medium speed, usually decent range. That can be some overheads, you know, just different uses. Depends on what character. And then your C moves are going to be more of your long range pokes. Or your heavy slashes, stuff like that, you know. It's going to be your really strong combo starters usually. But they're generally pretty slow. At least a lot slower than a lot of your other moves. And the D button is interesting in that it is different for every character. So Ragna's drive ability is the power of the Azure, and he will drain life from the opponent every time he lands a drive move. So all of his drive moves are different types of attacks, and they have different abilities. But every time one lands, he will gain HP. Some even on block, so it just depends. Depends on what character you play as, what the D button does, so experiment around, see what you can come up with. Alright. Now I'm gonna cover anti-air. So I'm gonna have Jin jump at me and do a basic Jin string. If I can get him to do it right. Let's see. Might have to be closer. Let's see. Okay, so that's a basic 2-hit Jin string right there. Record it again. Okay, cool. So now he jumps at me. He does the 2 slashes, right? Both are overhead. So if I try to duck, I'll show you. I will get hit. Yes, I tried to duck there. Got hit by the second one. So that's an overhead. You have to block that. But if people are jumping at you and you react to it, you can anti-air them out of it. You cannot get hit out of certain anti-airs because a lot of them have what is known as head invulnerability. And so you cannot get hit by any sort of jumping attacks. So, really, see the move there should have hit me. It was faster because it came out sooner. But due to Ragna's 6A, which is his anti-air move, it has head invulnerability. I will not get hit and I can hit you out of it. That's the way anti-airs work. And so if someone is jumping above you, there's really no risk of throwing at an anti-air. Because I can actually combo off of that as well. If you time it correctly. Ooh, am I doing something? Yeah. Yes, so you can combo off of that. So, really, anti-airs are just reacting to your opponent jumping. And then you can do whatever combo you want after that. Reversals are also interesting. I will cover them right now. So, alright, another basic Jin string. So, okay, so 6B with Jin, that move right there, is plus on block. So I'll do the same string again, and then do 5B afterward. I'll try to interrupt it this time. Let's see. Whoops, I need to record. Let's try this again. One more time. Okay, so that's the basic Jin string, right? So let's see what happens if I try to interrupt. No, I get counter hit. Cannot interrupt there. Yeah, that's since that move is plus on block, then there's still a few ways that you can get out of it, and that would be something like a reversal. Now, reversals are also known as, you know, DPs or dragon punches, are very fast moves that have invulnerability at startup. So you can use it to get out of certain pressure situations that would be normally disadvantageous, such as this one, so I'll show you. Boom. Inferno Divider. So that has invuln from frame 1. So you can't get... Well, okay, let us say. If you hit the opponent, you will hit them, I guess, basically. So, yeah, it's a very fast move. It's the reverse to get out of pressure, stuff like that. You can also use it to interrupt. Boom. So I can also interrupt the string because of how fast it is. So you can use reversals in a couple ways like that. Not every character has a reversal though. but the ones that do, it's usually a 623 input, but not always. And also, some moves are not true reversals, however they do come out in one frame, but they might not have invuln, so it just does take some practice to find out what moves are useful in what situations. But reversals are definitely one of the best ways to get the offense back in your favor, because you can interrupt your opponent's strings, you can get out of their pressure, and put the odds back in your favor that way. Next, I will cover crush triggers, which is another offensive technique. So I'm going to put the opponent on blocking everything again. So let's say they're blocking all your pressure, right? Well, there's another thing you can do called crush trigger, which is A plus B. That will break the opponent's guard, open them up for a really long time, and allow you to get a combo off of it. It does cost 25 meter, but you can also charge the move for a really long time if you want to get tricky. However, your opponent can barrier block it, but it does a lot of damage to their barrier as well. As you can see, he loses almost half of it just for blocking one of those. Also, if they have no barrier at all, then they can't even block the crush trigger, obviously. So once your barrier bar goes all the way down, you will be in a danger time, or danger state. And if you manage to land a crush trigger, they can't do anything about it. They can't barrier block it, so you get that for free, and then you get essentially a free combo off that. They block that. Yeah. So it's a pretty interesting offensive technique, especially since most of them are pretty fast and difficult to react to. You can react to it, but even if they do, and they barrier it, most of them are plus on block anyway, even if they barrier block it. So really not too much to worry about there. So if you want to go ahead and try and throw a few in your block strings, go for it. You know, there's not too much risk to it, in all honesty. But obviously they can, you know, jump out, and they do have pretty slow recovery, so they can punish you. So don't do it all the time. But definitely something worth looking into. Next thing I'm going to cover is armor. So, not every character, but certain characters have certain armor on their attacks. And I'll show that here now. I'm going to pick Tager, since he is the one with armor on quite a few moves. So, the first one I'm going to show is... Alright, he has projectile armor on this move here. Okay, so the attack will hit him, but he will just absorb it and keep doing his move. So he can, you know, not worry about projectiles when he's charging his spark bolt from mid-screen. So it does have certain armor on it like that. Okay. Another move he has armor on. Let's say I'm gonna do a basic Jin string real quick. Whoops. Okay. Whoops. Let's see. Okay, basic Jin string. So let's say I magnetize Jin, and then do this. Okay. Okay. Saw he couldn't hit me out there until the end. The first two hits, super armored. So, let's try again. Yes, so you can super armor certain melee attacks as well, not just... You can actually combo off of that. Yes, you can armor through certain attacks in the game, certain moves will have super armor. Let's try this one as well. So, another example of a move with super armor is Magnatech Wheel. So you can super armor that too. They cannot hit you out of that move. So, you know, finding out what moves have armor, how to use it, stuff like that. And since this move actually does pull you toward him as well, you can't really hit him out of that. It's pretty tricky to deal with. It's one use of armor. There's not necessarily armor, but there are some moves that have a particular type of invulnerability, and I'll show you that as well now. Kagura's Wyvern, 60C, is projectile invuln. So he cannot be hit with projectiles. So, you know, normally if I'm doing other types of attack, yeah, I'll get hit. But Wyvern goes right through it. Doesn't matter what range, cannot be hit by projectiles during Wyvern. It's similar to head invuln in that you cannot be hit by jump attacks while doing an anti-air. Can't be hit by projectile moves while you're projectile invuln. That's pretty much how it works. So you can just kind of experiment with what moves have what properties and stuff like that. To figure out ways to get around certain stuff your opponent could do. Also, the fact that Wyvern is projectile invuln, if they do throw out a projectile and I hit them on counter hit, I can get a huge combo off of that. So there can be a lot of benefits to moves like that. So I'm just going to go into some other techniques that are pretty interesting to use. They're a little bit more advanced past, you know, just your basic normals and your defensive techniques. So, rapid cancel. Rapid cancel is a technique that allows you to instantly cancel any move on block or on hit. So there's a lot of advantages to this. So you can, you know, rapid cancel the same move. Now, you have to have 50 meter to rapid cancel. But it will allow you to instantly take all of the recovery off the move. So if you do an unsafe move and they block it, like say you do a reversal. So this is Kagura's reversal. They block it, you can rapid cancel and block. They can't punish you. You're fine. Okay, so there's stuff like that you can do. Also, you can use it to extend combos. So say I land 2C. Normally that's the end of the combo, I don't get anything else off of that. But rapid cancel will allow me to combo 6C. And after I rapid cancel as the first hit, and I can then combo after it. So there's a lot of benefits to rapid cancel, defensively and offensively. You can also, you know, get tricky with stuff. So let's say they're blocking all your mix-ups, and rapid cancel, grab, you know, do something to open them up. Or you want to overhead, rapid cancel overhead, or stuff like that. You can also use rapid cancel to combo. So normally I cannot combo off of this overhead unless I rapid cancel. Same concept. So I take away all the recovery from the overhead, I can then instantly go into another move, and now I can combo off of it. You can also use it on air moves to get tricky if you want. You know. So normally I wouldn't get a full combo off of the jump C from that height. So jump C would be an overhead since it is a jump attack, and that's a very hard to react to one. That's what they call an instant overhead. I just jump, and you can't really react to that, you kind of have to predict it. So, I can combo off of it if I rapid cancel. But only if I rapid cancel. It also will make it safe if you then do try and block it. Because then there it falls up with the second hit, because it is very negative. All kinds of crazy stuff you can do with rapid cancel. I suggest experimenting as best you can. Try and see what you can come up with. Alright, dash cancel. Dash cancel is an interesting one. Only certain moves can be dash canceled. Kagura's only dash cancelable move is 5DA. So I can dash cancel forward, and I can dash cancel backward. Either to get close and keep pressure on my opponent. You know, I can keep attacking them if I want, or I can create more space and try and outrange them with my big sword. You can also use dash cancels in combos. So normally let's see. Yeah, so normally a combo like this, dash cancel and then go into combo. If you don't dash cancel, the combo will not work. But dash cancel it, then suddenly you can combo off of it. So yeah. You can use it in combos, you can use it in pressure, just really however you want. find out which moves you can dash cancel and then use them that way. For Jin, he can dash cancel 5D. Is one of his best ones. And he can also dash cancel after his grab, I believe. Yes, he can. So, you can grab, dash cancel, and then combo off of it that way. So, just depends on the character. Everybody can dash cancel different moves, but they can only dash cancel after certain moves. Jump cancel, though, is a little bit different. So, jump canceling, it has both uses in pressure and in combos. So, not every move can be jump canceled all the time. So, certain moves can be jump canceled on block or on hit, while others can only be jump canceled on hit. So, let's see. I think 5A. Okay. Yeah, so it just takes some experimenting with your character to see what moves you can jump cancel when. Like I said, not all can be jump canceled all the time. So, find out the best ways to apply it in your pressure. But it does take some getting used to, for sure. Not something that's super easy right off the bat. Okay. Just go counter hit combo. So counter hit is kind of interesting. Obviously, you can get counter hit either by interrupting your opponent by hitting them during the startup animation of their move, or even during some certain moves recovery. So if, let's say, Jin does his reversal, which is that. Now, it has very, very slow recovery. So even if I block it, whoops, let's say I block it. Okay, and I hit him after I block it, I will still get the counter hit, because he's still recovering from the move. So, counter hits will actually increase the amount of time the opponent is stunned by a lot. So, if he does the move, let's say I'll turn normal hits on. So I'll just turn the counter hits off for now and show you. So 3C, normally, as soon as they hit the ground, they can recover immediately on normal hit, which means I'll just have to go right into a combo. Doesn't really give me time to hit confirm. On counter hit, they lay there for a second, which gives me more time to hit confirm into something. Also, it can really change your combo routes entirely. So, normal hit, they recover pretty quick, that will not combo. On counter hit, it will, because they're stunned for much longer. And you can get a different combo than you normally would on normal hit. On normal hit, for example, this will launch them straight up in the air. On counter hit, it'll make them hit a wall, and they're stunned for much longer. It gives me a very long time to hit confirm a follow-up, and then combo. There's a lot of advantages to counter hit. Just take some experimenting to find out what they are. It works on air moves too. Certain air moves will give you a really long untech time, which you can then combo off of with ground combos and stuff like that. Just experimentation. I'm going to go over the concept of a meaty. So a meaty is when you make a person block on the first frame of their wake up. So it's similar to how an unholdable would work in Dead or Alive, and where you time the move with the first frame of their wake up. Same thing here. So this forces them to block the move. They cannot interrupt you in any way. Now some reversals with invuln will be able to, but if you meaty them outside of their reversal range, they literally are just forced to block it. So, for example, here I have Jin set to instant tech, and I'm going to have him block everything. So, after first hit. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to actually... Okay, I'll use a Fireball Oki. Okay, that's the meaty. He has to block that fireball or get hit. Those are only two options. Cannot interrupt it. And if he doesn't block the fireball, I can then combo off of it as well. That's an example of a meaty. You can also do it off of other combos, it really just depends. So just take some experimenting to figure out your best Oki setups for stuff like that. There's a couple other types of ways you can do Oki as well. So, if the opponent is emergency teching every time, that's not necessarily good. Now, it will allow them to get out of combos quicker, but if you read that they're going to emergency tech, you can actually get some specific setups that normally wouldn't otherwise work. For example, this one. So, I'll do this setup with Kagura. I am playing on controller, so if I'm dropping some stuff, I apologize. I usually do not play on controller. Okay, so let's see. Okay, that was a cross-up setup. You saw there. That was because he emergency rolled, and I was able to hit him right as he hit the ground off that particular setup. I can also do it in front without doing the cross-up, and it's very difficult to react to which one it is. And I got a ton of damage, and then, once again, the meaty, the Oki setup. So that's one example. Here's an example in the corner, which is a different one. Oh my goodness, hold on, let me try again. Okay, so I put him back in the corner there, and it is definitely my advantage. So that leads me to a a transition to safe jumps. So safe jumps are what I did there after I did that combo. If you can jump, and that gives you an option select way to beat reversals. So let's say Jin wants to reversal on wake up. I think I might have to just set him to record, so I'm gonna set him to record, and I'm gonna just mash DPs, so that way as soon as he gets off the ground, he'll do it. Alright. So I'm gonna do the combo once more. Oops. I messed that up. Let me try this again. Alright, so that should be good. Okay, so I didn't do it correctly. Anyway, so I safe jump here, and if he was to do a wake up reversal, I'd be able to block it, and then I can continue my pressure. You can also get other kinds of mix-up off of it as well. So if they don't have a reversal, or you don't think they're going to, because you've been safe jumping them and baiting out the reversals, you can go, like for example with Kagura, I can go into different types of stance pressure. That can be very difficult to block. If I can land the combo and stop being dumb. Alright. Yeah, so I end up behind him there. That's a cross-up setup. Again, very difficult to block, as you can see. Unless you were expecting that or knew about it, it'd be very, very hard to block. Impossible to react to. Really, that's just a guess. And that's the kind of scary stuff you can get with certain safe jump setups like that as well. Because then, after you start baiting out the reversals and they know not to do it anymore, then you can put them in a setup like that. There's a couple other ways you can do it as well. It just takes experimenting based on how your character can do it. Usually if you end with some sort of hard knockdown, you may be able to safe jump. Especially if you like rapid cancel and go into it or whatever, you know? Okay, let's talk about burst baits. So let's say Jin does a reversal and I bait it and I go to punish him. So but then he wants to burst out, right? So I bait it and then boom, okay. So he bursted out, I couldn't really punish him, didn't get very much damage, right? Well, you can actually bait people's bursts if you know that they're going to. And there's several ways you can do this. The first one is obviously just rapid canceling your move, and then blocking, so that will burst bait, and then you can hit confirm the combo after that, and then punish them again. So, it's a very good technique, obviously, if you know they're going to. Oops. Yeah. It will allow you to get some pretty nice damage for your opponent's mistakes. So yeah, you can. That's one way to do it. The other way is to jump cancel and then block, because you can block out after doing a jump cancel, and that will let burst bait as well. So let's say I do the same move, but okay, so you jump cancel and then block. Once again, you can burst people that way, and that way does not make you use meter, so it's good in that regard. However, the thing about that is usually when you're doing a jump cancel combo, unless you have some way to confirm into the loop, you won't get that much damage. So for me, with Kagura on counter hit, what I like to do is, you know, so I can go into something like that, and I can actually combo off of it if I have meter that way. So I'll option select block. So I'll do the jump and then I'll block and then just hit C. That way if they do burst immediately, I will bait it. If not, I can still combo off of it. That way I still can use meter to combo into it and get a nice punish. But I don't have to risk using meter on the burst here by rapid canceling and blocking when they may not necessarily do it. However, even if I do that, it's not too bad, because on counter hit, this move gets, for example, so much hit stun that even if I rapid cancel, I can option select block and then go into the combo if they don't decide to burst. Something like that. There's different stuff you can mess around with for burst baits. I suggest giving it a try, practicing, seeing what you can come up with. You can also just invuln straight through their burst as well, since they cannot burst moves with like invuln, like dragon punches, for example. So if you block this, DP, okay, so he bursted right through it. So you can do something like that as well, which is pretty interesting. Yeah, you can go right through it like that, and that way it's much more difficult to punish you for something like that. You know, just different ways you can bait burst. You can do that even in combos too, later on. You know, if you think they're gonna burst, you just go right into your DP and they try to burst, then yeah, you'll go right through them, no big deal. Yeah, there's interesting ways like that. Let's see what else. Overdrive. So every character's overdrive is different. So Kagura's is called infinite coupling. So I have 3 stances. Normally I can only use them once each time from neutral before I have to use a normal, like a C or a B or an A, in a combo before I can use them again. But in overdrive, I can use them as many times as I want, you know, infinitely. I don't have to worry about the limit. It also will allow me to do all of them in one combo, basically, if I wanted to. It's pretty interesting. Jin's overdrive allows him to increase the limit on his freeze, as well as more moves freeze. And just usually in overdrive, your supers are better. You get better hits on a lot of your drive moves. It really depends. Every overdrive is different, and it's a lot different than fighting normally. So it just takes some practice and experimentation to see what your character can do. As far as punishing goes, usually you're going to want to use, obviously, one of your biggest combo starters if you can. I'm going to turn it off so he doesn't burst. Okay, so I have him on block. So, okay, so you can punish and then immediately go into one very strong combo starter. Get a lot of damage for it. You know, do whatever. Or, if you think they are going to burst and you don't really want to bait it, then you can grab. Throw counters, since you caught him during the counter hit, during the recovery of his move, you cannot tech that throw. Similar to how a throw reject miss works, you cannot tech throw counter. So that is guaranteed. And then, after you throw them, if you want to go into overdrive then, and get some guaranteed damage that way, you can also do that. Very interesting tactic. You can overdrive and then go into a super or something. That's all guaranteed damage. They cannot burst out of that. That was a punish for a DP. And yeah, the good thing about that is like that one's unburstable, so you can like win around with that or whatever. Very, you know, and you can get fancy with it too. So let's say I want to throw and then rapid cancel that way. So if I have, say I'm at like half life, alright? I'm at half life. Jin does his reversal, and I grab it, and I rapid cancel. So I can do this. This is really hard in controller for me, so I apologize if this is very ugly. Let me try again. So basically, rapid cancel. Okay. So that's all guaranteed damage, basically. You can do crazy stuff like that. You can get a lot of damage that they cannot burst out of if you just do some experimentation. Now it might take a lot of meter, or whatever, but you know that a meter is a resource to win around. That's definitely a way you can use it. All right. That's it for a lot of the basic techniques I want to talk about. I'm just gonna go over some resets. So this is ways. This is the time when varying your wake up is extremely good, and I'll show you why. So I'm just gonna set. Well, I just want my life back to max. Normal hit. All right, cool. All right, so let's say the opponent is set to recover. So for aerial roll, I'm going to have them backward aerial roll. So when he is in midair, which I'll show you after this setup, he jumps backward. You see that? So that is caused by someone holding barrier block during the hit stun. So if you hold barrier block while you're getting comboed, then you will backward recover like that. Same thing on the ground, it will often cause people to roll and stuff like that. Or new instant tech if it's sometimes like a hard knockdown. So I have certain air and blockable resets that you can use when people are instant teching in the air, like this one. Okay, that moves air and blockable, and since they instant teched, they got hit by it. Now they can barrier block that, so I'll turn him on barrier block this time. And see what happens. Okay. I mistimed that. Let's try one more time. Oh, I'm bad. Try again. Okay, so you can block it if you barrier block, and that's why barrier blocking is very useful in the air. It'll get you out of certain resets like that. Here is another one, another example. So I can do a combo like this. Air unblockable, right there. This is air unblockable, this knee. So he was unable to block that. I'll show that one more time. Oops, I don't drop it. And I can get a combo off of that. So that's another air unblockable reset. Since they tech and he ended up in midair, he has to block that fireball. And then I can go into the air unblockable. Now, once again, you can barrier block it, and I'll show you the results of that. Yeah, now I cannot combo him. So it's really just recognizing what kind of reset we can put in there. That's an example of the air unblockable reset. Those are pretty strong, you know, very hard to get out of. But if you do know about it, there's obviously ways to get around it. Okay, here's another type of reset. So I obviously did this one last time. Went into the air unblockable. Okay, well let's say they've been barrier blocking that. They'll put him on barrier block. And he's been getting out of it. There's another thing you can do. Air grab reset. Okay, so that's if you read them, just gonna tech out and barrier block, go for an air grab and get combo off of that. You can even do it again if you want then. Same setup, you know? So, they can obviously still tech that grab, so they can like option select tech and stuff like that, you know, there's a bunch of crazy stuff they can do. But, that's a setup that I specifically designed to be people who are barrier blocking my air unblockable, but still instant taking. So, these are examples for stuff like that. You can do this with every character. Every character has different variations they can do. Okay, let's do a soft knockdown reset. So this is one, let's say they are trying to barrier block while holding, they're holding barrier block like 1A plus B during the combo. This is sometimes when you will tech roll on accident. So I'm going to have them wake up backward with the emergency roll disabled. So they're going to be holding this. Block type barrier. So they're holding this during the combo, right? This is what they're doing. Okay, I was able to reset him. To give you an example, I'm going to turn the health on to default without regenerate. So this is from the beginning. This is when he has 100% health. Okay, that was one guess, and I got all that damage. That's the power of a reset. Otherwise, this time I'll show you how to get out of that. So if you just neutral tech, just hold a button, don't hold a direction, and you emergency roll. You won't get caught in that reset, and then you can block. So that's how to get out of soft knockdown resets. So they weren't meaning to tech roll there. They were just holding 1A plus B the barrier to try and get out, right? So you don't want to hold your direction when you're trying to tech if you just want to emergency roll. Just hold your button, then as soon as you get up, start blocking. Let's see. Okay, so you can also frame trap people. So this is one of my favorites to do. So I'm going to have him tech up and then block. Yeah. With enable. Okay. So this is a frame trap. I actually recover faster there, even though that move whiffed than the opponent does. So let's have him try and attack me with 5B after he does that. So yeah, that's good. Cool. So I think I did it too late. Let's try again. Yeah, okay. So you should not be able to interrupt me unless he does something like a reversal. But if he does that, you can just bait it by backdashing and then doing something like 2C or whatever has good range. This is, my Kagura specific stuff, since this is my character. But like I said, every character can do this. Okay, well, let's say he decides not to tech up there because he doesn't want to eat the frame trap. And so he just decides to lay there. Well, that's fine too, because then I can still combo off of it, It will be a blue combo, but it's a no tech punish. Yeah, I can still get an extended combo because he decided not to tech. Same thing here. Alright, well, I'm going to have him wake up backward. So this is an example of a tech trap. So normally you can get out of this. Works the same way. So alright, if you tech up there, that will force you to block it. That's with the emergency roll. And I can combo off of that if, for whatever reason, you decide to hit a button. Get counter hit. However, let's say you don't get up, once again. Same thing, I can combo off of it yet again. Let's say that you decide to tech roll then. You want emergency roll disable. Let's say you want to go with your back tech. Try to get out of it. It will catch your tech roll. I can once again combo off of that. You can, however, forward roll out of it. So there are certain setups where you can roll one way, not the other. and stuff like that. Just take some experimenting, character knowledge, and matchup experience. You know, if you're getting hit by certain things like that, just try something else next time. Really, all there is to it. So, learning when to tech, when not to tech, and how to tech is different in every situation, depending on what your opponent can do or what they know about. Okay, now let's try an overhead reset. So let's say that you're comboing them, right? And you land on him. Okay, so you can actually get like a reset. So let's say, so that's a reset there too. So you can get actually a stronger combo starter that way. So, rather than like a 5A starter like that one. Let me put the head back over here. So like a 2A starter, not a very strong starter, right? Alright, that's about the most damage I can get off combo like that with that kind of confirm. Not very much, right? But, say I throw the overhead reset in there. Whoops. Try again. Whoops. That can potentially get a lot more damage. If I do it correctly. Probably not, it's alright. Get the idea. You can also do it off of, you know, so like say you land on them like this. You know, you just go straight into the other normal overhead. Or you hit them with this, and then another overhead, you know. Since overheads are less common, especially after you hit them, it's even harder to react to, it seems like. So, you know, going into overheads after overheads, or, you know, other kind of stuff like that can get very tricky. And then go into other setups, boom, whatever. You know, it's about trying to keep that momentum going. There's also some same attack duration setups. Now, normally doing some certain move twice in the same combo will oftentimes ruin your combo. There are some times where it doesn't, though. So here's an example of that. So I'm just gonna have him stand normally. So let's say if I do this, same attack combo. That doesn't force him to stand there, he can lay there, but either way he will eat that fireball. It'll at least force him to block. So, mid-screen Oki setup. He has to block that fireball, and then it's my turn for mix-up, so I can run in after that. So I'll try it one more time. And then yeah, I can go into whatever I want. And that was off same attack combo. Now, if I did that off of another starter, like, okay, say I did this combo. Oops. Alright, say I did this combo. Alright, works the same way. But, I want him to not block that, actually. Depending on how long your combo is. See, alright, so he actually managed to get out of it that time. So the longer the combo, or whatever you start it with, doesn't always behave the same way. So keep that in mind. You can't always get the same setups. It's because of the way the scaling works in Blazblue. Can't always get the same setups off of every combo. But, you can't get it, it's worth giving it a look at. Here's another example of a very strong reset using same attack variation. This one works in the corner. Okay, so that was half the combo. It's actually kind of want to do the full combo. So if I have a 2A starter, I do 2DC twice. If they instant tech, that causes a reset right there. Alright, that's actually 9.5 if I had less health. So as you can see, that's ridiculous damage off something like a reset. Try one more time. So I actually do one. Yeah, 9.5. So you can get some really silly damage off resets if your opponent is not ready for it. You know, not to say that that's a combo you're gonna land very often, because obviously that does so much damage. You'll probably kill them before you'll have to land that, as an example, or they'll burst out, or they might not tech for the reset. But this is stuff that could happen, you know, theoretically. Another type of reset, I'm actually gonna pick Makoto for this one, because hers are a little bit better to show you. Alright, so you can do like a cross-up reset. So cross-up being you go to the other side of them, and you're able to change it that way. So let's say you land your combo, and you doing the regular stuff, and then if you land 5D level 2, yeah, that's what it is. So you can go behind them with one of your teleports, and that's very difficult to block. I'm used to the online timing actually being difficult, and then you can, you know, combo them again on the other side if they're not ready for it, and do something like that. Another way it works is, say, off something like this. Oops. Oh, that was a mistake. Let me try one more time. Let's do this one. Oh, doesn't work in that setup. So, combo was actually too short for that one to work. It's interesting. Okay, and you saw how much damage that was. That was a 50 meter, basically one guess setup. So, Makoto's parry, you can actually use it in a combo, and then if you rapid cancel, you'll end up behind them. That's another cross-up setup, and you can cancel and go into all kinds of crazy stuff. Or you can, you know, go behind them during combos, do whatever you want. That's pretty much most of the types of resets that I have. So, yeah, once again, you can do some types of overhead resets. You can do even like low resets if you think someone's going to standing block instead of crouch block, which usually is not the case, because most people will be crouching, they're trying to react to overheads. But that's pretty much it for basics, you know. That's all I have for now, so I guess I'm done. Let me know if you have questions.